I'm just going to explain what we're doing with the elk here. Elk we're doing under it's not, I mean, it's new to what most people know about, but it's actually been around since the 80s.
Wow.
It's called sous vide cooking. Sous vide means under vacuum in French. And we take some elk, which we have right here, super lean meat. It is leaner than beef, leaner than pork. It's not leaner than chicken, but it's for a red meat for what it is. You're not gonna beat it for how lean it is. I think it's 22% fat total for the whole animal.
Wow.
Compared to beef and other animals,
That
which
is
can be in the
very
30s,
lean.
even the low 40s for what it is. So we have those. We cut them down. I wrap them in plastic wrap. It's called a torchon, and then I put them in the Cryovac bags just like this. And then you have these nice little.
They almost look like little sausages.
Kind of, yes, but it's a whole loin.
Right.
So it's just a whole muscle meat, and we're gonna have those after they cook. They cook in this for about 2 hours. When we cool them down, and they'll look like this. This is a little smaller one that we got, and again, it's not the prettiest right now.
But it will be.
But when it's
right?
done, you're going to be blown away by how this is.
So this just ensures that it's going to be the absolute perfect temperature inside,
Yep.
right?
So it is going to be perfectly medium rare. You don't got to worry about
Nice.
overcooking it. All you got to do is heat it up.
It sounds really fancy and complicated, but it actually makes things a lot easier.
This is the at-home version. Like
Okay.
this is the one that I use at my personal house
Nice.
when I cook. When my wife cooks, who doesn't know how to cook, I love her to death. But this is the one that she would use.
Okay,
So
great.
we have a much larger one for the restaurant.
Yeah. Have you ever used a sous vide before?
I have not. I have not.
It's
Wouldn't
not.
surprise me if you had.
No.
It's not nearly as intimidating as people think it is.
Yeah, I think it's the French word.
Yeah, and I mean, it's they think they have to have a chamber vacuum or that. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can just use a Ziploc bag and just drop it in the water.
Sure.
And there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Nice.
And that's the way I started doing it at home. I didn't even have an immersion circulator. I just used a crock pot, filled it
Really?
with water, put a thermometer in it, and used it
Just
that way.
monitor the temperature.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's all you got to do. Again, you're not going to get the exact temperature that you want always,
You'll
but
get close to it, I'm
you'll
sure.
get what you want. So first thing, we're going to char up some figs. These are some Black Mission figs.
These are gorgeous.
Hands down my favorite food in the world.
Really?
So, and all we're gonna do is just sear one side of these real quick in the pan.
Nice. You're kind of getting them nice and caramelized. And
Yep. If this was a dessert, I'd probably put some turbinado sugar on there, and you can brulee them, and they have that same consistency as like a creme brulee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's real nice. You can do the same thing with certain like triple cream cheeses. You can put a layer of sugar on there, and you have that.
That's brilliant.
Some people finish off their dinners with like a cheese plate. You can have a dessert cheese plate. We've done
I
a couple
love
times.
that idea.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I'm
amazing.
feeling that for sure.
Yeah, that's a real
Holidays
fun
coming
idea.
up. I love it.
So once they start to get a little bit of color on them, nothing too crazy.
Okay, so just a nice little toastiness.
Yep. So you have that beautiful amber brown. That's all we're looking for.
Awesome.
So this is that elk loin that was sous vide. I usually like to use the corner of the pan where it's already curved.
Okay.
So if you have a round item and you use the corner of that curved pan,
So it
you're
kinda
really
hugs
able
it.
to get a better sear on it. And that's usually what I'm going
That's
for.
a great tip.
So it doesn't work if you have an electric stove, but a gas stove like this,
Right.
it's beautiful, and you're able to use it and still get that exact same heat.
Nice.
You're able to just keep turning it around however you need to.
Did you ever marinate the elk in anything?
This
or-
we don't marinate. I mean, elk is a very mild flavor for what it
Right.
is. It tastes like beef, but I think it's a little mild, which is a slight gaminess to it. So I like to enhance that flavor with the sweetness.
Right.
So I'll add things to it, but not necessarily play with the meat itself.
Okay.
So that's the route that I like to go. All right, so now we've got a little bit of that Maillard reaction going around on the outside. Now we're gonna start doing a little bit of basting action. So,
Oh, my favorite part. I love a nice meat baste.
yeah. So we're just gonna take some garlic, crush it with the knife. Make sure it's not too sharp of a knife that we cut ourselves, right, doctor?
All right.
All right, and then some fresh thyme. So you just put those in the pan.
Okay.
Take some of this whole butter. Now again, everyone sees basting and they look at it and they go, oh my goodness, you're using so much butter. You're just using it for flavoring the outside of the meat.
Right, so
You're
that
not
butter's not
ingesting
all
it.
gonna end up on
You're
your
not
plate.
ingesting it. You know, if they go, oh, that's a half a cup of butter in one dish. You're not eating nearly that much.
Right. It's just going to kind of infuse into
Yep,
the steak.
we're just gonna keep basting,
Beautiful.
basting the
minutes.
meat. And when it's done basting, you're gonna take it out. You're gonna take a little pastry brush. And that apple butter that we made earlier
Yes.
is, after it's pureed, you add the sugar, you add everything to it, it comes out looking like this. It looks like, like the kind of apple butter you'd buy in the store.
Right, for sure.
So nothing too crazy to it. I then paint the outside.
Oh, wow.
That is an amazing
Smells
glaze.
so good.
You just paint the outside around.
The thyme and garlic and the butter right
Yeah,
now
it's
is
so good.
Just
dying.
cover all aspects of it. And then the little one that really seems to get people is this.
What is this? I saw this earlier. I
Yep.
didn't know what it was.
So this is a roasted mushroom powder. We take
Wow.
mushrooms, we cook them down in butter and thyme, and then we cook them in the pan for about a half an hour. And then overnight, we put them on a sheet tray in the oven with the oven off, but it's just enough with the gas pilot light to heat it and dry them out. You can use a dehydrator, but you don't even need to. It comes
Really?
out perfect just like this.
And what type of mushrooms? Any kind?
So
or?
creminis, portobellos, buttons, you name it, we
Okay.
use it. We don't have any specific recipe for this. It's just whatever we have available, what's
Nice.
seasonal, you know, and it literally just comes out like
Really
that. And then
cool.
when it's all dried out, we put it in a coffee grinder.
It looks like coffee.
Yep. I
That's
do
kinda what I
suggest
thought
you
it
make sure
was.
that if you're going to use it, wash your coffee grinder out
Sure.
really well, because if not, you might have some strange tasting coffee the next day.
Right.
So we basically have almost everything ready to go. We can start plating up if that's all right.
Absolutely.
We're going to start off with that puree that we made of the celeriac and parsnip.
Such a nice earthy color to it too.
All right. Then we're going to take some of these greens.
Beautiful
So these are
greens.
the greens that our doctor beautifully cut up for
Yeah,
us.
seriously.
I still cannot believe those knife skills. And then last, we got this beautiful elk loin that we cook
cut it
sous
in
vide.
half.
We're going to cut the ends off.
All right.
It's so beautiful.
It really is.
And like I love how it's all like about the like earth. You got root
Yeah,
vegetables
exactly.
and the mushrooms and the
Well put.
grains.
And of course, this is going to be on our healthy fine dining menu as part of the St. Luke's University Health Network fine dining program.
Just going to place that right on top.
Beautiful.
And then the very last thing that we do to finish this dish, we have some micro celery, obviously to go
wow.
with the celeriac. This is from a local farm. It's about 6 miles from our restaurant that he makes just for us. You know, he doesn't grow for anyone else in the world, actually.
Really cool.
Only us get that. So, and then there's our final dish. If you want to take that over,
Absolutely.
we should be
Figs?
ready to go. Oh my goodness, my figs! You are so right. My figs and my
Sorry.
cherries. I got so distracted. So we're just going to take some of the figs and some of the cherries. You distracted me here. But those
good
are
for that.
Yeah. So the figs, the pickled cherries.
Pickled cherries. What
Yep.
do you do with
so
those?
we
Just-
take rice wine vinegar, cinnamon, star anise, and a little
Beautiful.
clove and sugar, and we pickle them out.
Love it.
we
Let's
put 'em
bring
on
this
like
over to
that.
the
Yep.
table.